back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about a little something that I just picked up. Now, this is going to be for those of you who maybe you're not into the guns, the pew-pews, right? Whether it be like Taurus or a Glock, all right? If you're not, say, into these, which definitely when it comes to self-defense, they're going to be a lot more on the lines of being lethal, right? Whether it be home defense, everyday carry, things like that. Once you shoot the bad guy with those, that's it. It's over and done with. Done. However, some people, maybe you don't want to do that, all right? Maybe that amount of force, for you, you feel like it's unnecessary. To each their own. This is also good for those of you who are trapped behind enemy lines here in Connecticut, and you just went through, say, your pistol permit class, or you just submitted your application, and now you're looking at anywhere from 3 days to potentially 9 months down the road. Connecticut does not make it easy. So what are your options? All right. If you're not going to be into these, or currently you're unable to buy these. All right. So we're going to talk about something that is legal in all 50 states and is not considered a firearm according to the ATF. And by any measure for the states, it is legal to carry. And that is going to be the Burna. All right. Now the Burna comes in different types. You've got your handguns. You've got something that's about the size of a PDW. They have something that's almost the size of basically a Mark 18. So for you guys that don't know, a smaller version of an AR-15. They all take the same type of ammunition, and it's less than lethal. All right, perfectly allowed to carry this, so on and so forth. We picked this up about 2 weeks ago, and we picked up a bunch of frangible ammunition that comes with it. You can buy a jar of it. For me, I just looked at it as it was like practice ammunition. It is designed to hit and basically disintegrate into powder. So I was out in the backyard with my wife, my son. My daughter is currently not in state. She lives out of state. And we were basically shooting our wood pile. And you can see the little green rounds hitting and basically exploding. They're frangible. All right. What is the Burna? I know it's a burn question. Well, it is a CO2 powered, less than lethal gun. It looks just like this. All right. It does have an ambidextrous manual safety. It is magazine fed. Right up in the grip. There is no slide track or anything like that. Safety goes off, and if you've got a CO2 cartridge in it, you're ready to rock and roll. The CO2 cartridges, so the particular Burna we bought, which is not the cheapest, not like saying it's expensive, it's just it's not the cheapest one they had. The least expensive one they had is basically you're buying the gun and one magazine. All right, we opted for the gun with the magazine. It comes with a spare magazine. It came with 2 CO2 cartridges, and then the 3 different types of ammo that are currently available on the market for this gun. That being said, aiming, pretty simple. If you know how to aim a gun, you know how to aim this. This is perfectly legal for you to leave out. I know in Connecticut we have the laws changed with HB 6667, which means no matter what, these all have to be locked up, whether they're loaded or unloaded. It doesn't matter about the age of the person in the home. They have to be locked up. So technically, my wife and I were empty nesters. Just us, we still have to lock our guns up. Even though we're 2 grown adults in our late 40s, we still got to do it, which is ridiculous. Now, the law used to say you had to lock up your guns in a safe that a reasonable person would believe your guns are locked in a safe type thing. For anyone, if you have people in the house under the age of 18, it makes sense, that's Ethan's law, or you have a prohibited person in your home, basically a felon. With the law passing just recently, a couple of months ago, they removed the under 18 and prohibited person phrases. So now it basically reads, you have to lock your guns up, all right, in some sort of safe. Now, it could be biometric, it could be combo, it could be a keypad, but it doesn't matter. Say you have a young adult child, right, a late teenager, and you and your significant other go out. So say my wife and I, we decide to go out on date night. We go out to dinner. We leave, and somebody's watching the house. They decide they're going to rob us because we left. Now, my son is still home. Unfortunately, all of ours are locked up, except for the one, obviously, I took with me and my wife took with me. Everything else is locked up. And what is my kid to do? He's got nothing, so someone's going to break down the door, and he's just going to be a victim. Well, to help facilitate him staying safe, outside of calling 911 and barricading, things like that, we got the Burna. So we can leave this out when we leave, and he'll be good to go. He knows how to operate it, and it's pretty straightforward. If you can shoot a handgun, you can pretty much shoot this. It is not loaded currently. It does have a CO2 cartridge in it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it is not loud. So even empty, all right, and I know there's nothing chambered because it does have a chamber indicator that we will talk about, but even empty. All right, so let's go over this real quick, all right? It's not like a normal standard firearm, right? So normally we'd cover it tip to butt, so on and so forth. But I'll start with the magazines. The magazines obviously handle the little projectiles. What are the projectiles? I'm glad you asked. They look like that. They're just little balls. Now this one is a pepper projectile. This is the eco-kinetic one, so it is green, so you know that it's environmentally safe. All right, I'm going to open it real quick so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. All right, see a magazine, and they just load right in. And these are the ones we bought. We bought a bunch of extra of these for practice. So these are the ones we're just shooting out in the backyard. Check with your Sydney ordinance. You might not be able to shoot like BB guns, things like that in your backyard. We weren't out there going buck wild. We weren't out there doing crazy stuff. It does have an indicator on the side, and this will hold up to 6 of these. All right, the tube, however, only has 5. So when you put this in, fully loaded, if you look at the top here, okay, move it better. All right, so you can see this pops up. All right, now there's one basically in the chamber. How do we unload these? Little lever on the side. When you push it, they all come flying out. So be mindful of that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So how do we get the one that's inside out? All right, it's pretty simple. That loaded chamber indicator that's right there, you're going to push it down. However, it's going to drop it very fast. So I like to cup the bottom, push, and then it's right there in your hand. So the gun is unloaded. I'm just going to put these back in here. So you get your little tube. These are little sample packs. Little packet of desiccant, little piece of foam to protect them. All right. And the third one that it comes with are also straight up kinetic projectiles. So it is a very rock hard plastic ball. Now when you shoot this and it hits a hard object, it is coming straight back. All right, it is going to ricochet and go wherever. So be mindful if you're using the gray ones. and you're shooting at a flat object, right? I would rather have you buy these, which are the eco-kinetics, so when they hit, they break apart. Again, it's frangible. The pepper ones, which are black and white, don't shoot those unless you are prepared, because some of the videos that I have seen, they are very, very potent. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. They are red and gray, but that is filled with basically pepper spray. When it hits, it breaks open and it covers everything. Using it in an enclosed space, they will tell you you are going to feel the effects of it too. So if you do a mag dump into a bad guy or home intruder or what have you, one, it's going to be a mess to clean up, and two, it is going to affect everybody in that enclosed space. So keep that in mind. It is definitely a deterrent. All right. Yes, it is kind of big. All right. It really reminds me of carrying a high point. That's what it reminds me of. That's what it looks like. Now, how do we charge it? All right. So I pulled out the old CO2 canister, and we have to put a new one in. That's pretty simple. You're going to take a brand new CO2 canister, have it at the ready. You take your empty magazine, and on the back of the magazine is going to be the tool you use to remove the cover plate. Put it in, just unscrew it. When it's empty, it is going to be very easy to unscrew. Once you've charged it, then it's going to be significantly harder because you're basically going to ratchet it down. So all you have to do, it's open, you drop the CO2 canister in, cap it back off. All right, now when you do this, you don't want to crank it down to where it's going to be impossible to open. All right, so all I do is tighten it up. You can feel it get really tight, little scotch there. Good to go. Insert the empty magazine. Now, how do you pierce it? Your first shot is going to pierce it. So you take your safety off, and then, just like that, it's pierced it. Now, if it was a loaded mag, nothing would have come out. First one's pierced it. And you're good to go. All right, so you can sit there and dry fire it, but there's really, you're just wasting your CO2. How long, everyone's asking, how long do these last? This little CO2 canister is good for about 25 shots with your Burna handgun. So that's going to be a little over 5 mags. Maybe I would say it's going to last about 4 mags to be on the safe side. When you undo it to take out the old one, as you loosen up that bottom part, it's going to bleed off any CO2. It's not going to fly out. So you'll be able to unscrew it, take it out, dispose of it. And you can buy a big, giant box of CO2 cartridges. All right? There is a very specific warning that goes with the CO2 cartridges for the Burna. If you buy the Burna and then you decide you're going to go to like Cabela's, Bass Pro, or any other place where you can get these little cylinders of CO2, there are very specific ones they tell you not to use because the mechanism inside the gun will not pierce it, and then it's not going to work. So, how do we avoid that? Pretty simple. Buy the Burna ones. You know they're going to work. They go to this particular platform, this gun, whether it's this one or the PDW or the AR style, and they do sell bigger ones that'll give you more shots. I just stick to that. We bought an entire box of them, and it wasn't expensive. The whole thing out the gate, it's going to run you a couple $100, right? So just getting this with the one mag, you can get the whole thing for like $300. We opted to get the next step up, so we get the extra mag, the 3 different types of ammunition, and 2 CO2 canisters for an extra $40. It was like a no-brainer. It's like, okay, fine, not a problem. So that's what we opted for. That being said, you can stick to the cheaper one. They have more expensive ones. It's an entire, you have an entire spectrum to pick from a $300, just a gun, just a single mag, and then you can go up in price. Now, they come in different colors. Some people might not like the overt orange or the red. I wanted something that was high visibility, but they do sell these in black and FDE. All right, hence why I've picked these two. However, that being said, guys, if it's black, it's going to look like a high point. If it's FDE, it's going to look like, you know, a regular handgun. More than something this color, all right? Normally, regular handguns don't come in this color unless you're having them Cerakoted or doing weird things with them. The other nice feature, before I forget, is that $300 one does not come with that manual safety. It is a load, point, and go. So, that being said, if you're not big into that manual safety, then you might want to go with that option. Now, I wanted the one with the manual safety, even though I always rag on him, and I'm not a fan of him, mainly because I don't want the pepper ball accidentally getting fired some way, somehow, inside the house. We have small dogs, and that is not going to be good for them. So I wanted the one with that safety. And again, it's ambidextrous. So while you're practicing with your eco-kinetic rounds, practice swiping that safety down. All right, holding it, fire, safety back on. All right. Now, do they make a holster for this? Burna does have a holster for it. In fact, where we purchased this, the owner of the business has a holster. He doesn't sell them. He's looking to get them. So, if you want to carry something like that, you're going to have to hunt around for a holster. A high point holster might work. I don't know. I know Burna specifically makes a holster for this. Other options you can get, other accessories. The nice thing is you can get yourself the cleaning kit, which is basically going to be a cleaning brush and a little bit of oil. All of that is in the instructions, what to oil, so on and so forth. A little bit of oil basically goes down the barrel, so on and so forth. Not that big a deal. It's not really super complicated. I mean, it's not like when you pull a trigger on one of these with lead, dust, and carbon and everything everywhere. This is all CO2. Mainly that cleaning is for if you shoot one of these and it happens to break before coming out and it kind of gets a little bit of stuff inside the barrel, you're able to use that brush to get in there and clean it all out. All right, so on the packaging, right, because I already said this is not a handgun, right? It's not a firearm. On the back, it does have warnings, because depending on where you live, amazingly, this is not all that regulated in Connecticut when it comes to less than lethal. Unlike tasers, you can own them here, but you need a gun permit to get them. So if you're in that weird window, you want something for home protection, less than lethal, you can't get a taser. Hell, just till recently, it was illegal to transport tasers in your car. So even if you bought one at a store, there was no way for you to get it home because it was against the law to put it in your vehicle and transport it. Right. So it says right here, regulations for states. Right, because it gives you a pretty good warning about this. Now, it says certain states and municipalities may regulate possession of the use of the Burna, launchers and projectiles, including transportation in a vehicle, used by certain categories of persons, and used in certain venues, and many other reasons. All right, it says possession of a compressed CO2 cartridge is regulated, so you can't take it on a plane, can't have it in airports, things like that. Always check the applicable laws and regulations before purchasing, transporting, or using your Burna launcher. Now, I can tell you right now, in the state of Connecticut, you can walk into the store and you can purchase this. There is no 4473. There's no DPS3. There's nothing to fill out. You walk in, you tell them what you want, pay for it, out you go. Now, I know what everyone's asking. God, where did you get these wonderful toys? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, my good friend Peter, who is an instructor of firearms, opened a less than lethal shop here in North Haven. All right, his information is going to be down below. Phone number, address, the whole 9 yards. It is Urban 2A, and they sell everything less than lethal that you can imagine. So, that being said, is lots of Burna stuff, whether it's the PDW, the handgun, which is probably going to be the biggest seller, AR-15 style. He also teaches his classes in the same building. So if you're in the market to take a pistol class, hit Peter up. He's a great instructor. He can teach classes for Connecticut and Utah. So if you're interested in getting your Utah permit, he also can do that. All right. If you're in the market for a less than lethal or something that you can leave out other than a handgun, and you're interested in the Burna, right? Yes, you probably can just order it right off their website, but why do that when you can help out a local business? Instead of ordering from some faceless corporation, go visit Urban 2A to pick up your Burna. Talk to Peter. His wife's there. Support local businesses, guys. I know everyone's so quick to just jump on Amazon and all. I'm just as guilty. I'm like, oh, it's not in the store. Well, we need this item. Oh, we'll just go to Amazon and see if they have it. Try to shop local, all right? That being said, that's pretty much all that there is to say about the Burna. Practicing with it, pretty simple. It's pretty much point of aim, point of impact. Understand you are not going to be hitting things at 50 yards with this. All right, it is a CO2 propelled projectile. You're going to be really close. 10 yards. Point of aim is point of impact. Just aim center mass. You put all them little pepper balls right on somebody's chest. They break. They're done. They're done. They're hating life. All right. You pop them in the face with one. They are going relatively fast. Outside of getting hit with pepper spray, basically, it is going to be definitely leaving contusions, things like that. And that's basically what the regular kinetic rounds are for. It's basically almost like getting shot with a beanbag out of a shotgun. Well, that's what that basically is. Again, though, they hit and they bounce. So they offer the kinetic round that's eco, and it breaks up upon impact. I would opt for something like that in the house. God forbid you missed. At least it's going to hit the wall and shatter, and it's tactically not going to come back at you. Again, it could hit and bounce back because weird things happen. So that being said, it's more apt to hit and break. So that might be a better option. And you can get a big jar of them so you can practice. Keep it loaded. One magazine loaded with those. One magazine loaded with pepper spray balls. This way, God forbid, you hit them a couple times with a kinetic round. It's not working. You got a spare mag. And it works just like any other regular handgun would. Alright? Same controls, whole 9 yards. Are there any beefs about it? No, I think it works. The only thing I would like to see in the future, maybe, is a bigger pronounced mag release. Because right now, I am definitely having to turn the gun to get to it, and I wish it was just a hair bigger. If you're wearing gloves for some reason, because it's cold outside, it may be a little bit harder to get to it. Safety works just fine, just slips right down with no effort. Safeties on some normal guns are definitely going to be a little stiffer than the safety on that. Just so you know. They do have warranties. More information on that, simple. Go see Peter. I'm not going to be breaking down the warranties and all that stuff, but you can get extended warranties and all that. So that's pretty much it. All right? Go hit up Urban 2A. Get your less than lethal Burnas. Not just for yourself, but they make awesome Christmas presents. You want to give someone the gift of self-defense, and you know deep down they would never own a regular gun. That's fine. I never push guns on people. But the Burna is a good option, especially this holiday season, giving the gift of self-protection, self-defense, less than lethal. The world is on fire. It's not normal, so this is better than nothing. All right? Till the next videos, I will see you guys later. You have a great day. Talk to you later.